What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream today. We'll be looking at the latest Arsenal news as we prepare for that massive game this Saturday away at Anfield against Liverpool. Few bits of transfer news as well, as always, and we'll be looking back on yesterday's brilliant show as well that we did. Make sure you hit that like button on the way up, on the way in. If not, make sure you hit it on the way out. Big up to every single one of you for tuning in. Hope you're all having a great Thursday today. I'm a little bit tired today, man. I went to AFTV at a party last night to celebrate. I think they got a million followers on Instagram, so I was there till late. So a little bit tired today, people, but we're here. And yeah, it was a good night, to be honest. So yeah, we'll get into the latest news and start looking ahead to the game and a few links to a few Arsenal players. I'm going to put Granit Xhaka mode on from now, people. You know what I mean? I always wait too long and the comments start getting out of hand. I can't keep up with it. So we're putting Xhaka mode on from now. And big up to everyone who's in the chat. Gooner8, hope you're well. Big up the chat. And Curtis Emma said, good afternoon, Curtis and the community. Hope everyone is well today. Sean, can't wait till the big game. It's a big one. Hen and Gooner, good afternoon, and all watching in the chat. Hope you're well, having a productive week, 100%. Buenos Aires, Gooner, hello all. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and turn on the notifications. You know that. Big up to Omar. South London's Finest said, what a legendary stream yesterday. Listen, for anybody that didn't watch that stream yesterday, I recommend going back to watch that. We did something a little different. Just because there wasn't too much to talk about and we had Kev on, I said, listen, let's talk about your time when you was at Arsenal. A lot of the younger audience, they don't really know about Kev's career too much and the impact of 1989, Arsenal winning the title at Anfield. So we got into that and the stories were banging, man. Tired but still on time. Curtis is fully up to his game. We're moving, man. We're moving. We're here, people. Xhaka mode is on, people. Don't worry about it. Lachlan said, how are you, Curtis? Trying to become a regular, bit hard when you're from Australia. I know the time difference, it's a little bit different, innit? Did Don Robbie put a tab on? Yeah, to be fair, he paid for all the food. So the food was covered. We had to cover our own drinks. So, yeah, it was decent. Absolutely amazing stream. Yeah, do you know what? I'll put it at the end of the video in the link. So if someone wants to just click on it. Great insight on Super Kev's career. Yeah, big up Kev. I know he said he enjoyed the stream himself as well. So big up to him and appreciate everyone that tuned in for that. Let's get into the latest Arsenal news, people. Let's get into the latest Arsenal news. So rumours, stories circulating today around Alexander Lacazette. Now, a lot of the reports were that Arsenal were not going to offer Lacazette a new contract at all. And that they would just, you know, they've kind of given up on the fact of him staying at the football club. But there are stories going around today, and a lot of the papers are running with this, is that the story goes as Arsenal are set to offer Lacazette a new contract. After performing well recently in games and training, he's also looked up to by a lot of the younger players in the squad and has a big influence in the changing room. So now I've read the whole story. It was reported by The Athletic last night, David Ornstein, and I have read it. And the story goes on to say that that they believe it could be maybe a one-year contract with a one-year option, which would be Arsenal's option. So potentially it would be giving him another year with the possibility of one more year, but that would be our decision in 12 months' time. Now, they're saying that the contract would probably remain the same and not be an improvement. He currently earns 170 grand a week. Now, I've got mixed feelings about this deal. I'm going to be totally honest. I've got mixed feelings about it. On one hand, I think Lacazette, from things that I've heard and read, I believe Lacazette is a very popular figure at the football club. A lot of the young players get on well with him. He's a very strong personality. I think the fans like him, very passionate. So in that sense, brilliant. And I do think he's a talented player. My problem has always been what we signed Lacazette for, he has not done for us. We signed him to be a goal scorer. ultimately Lacazette hasn't had a 15-goal season in the Premier League since he signed for the football club. Now, I like him. I do like him. And a one-year deal would kind of make sense. I understand. The problem is, and like some of you are saying in the comments, first of all, would he sign that? If he's got decent offers on the table, I don't think he would sign that, because when you're nearly 31, you want stability in your football career, and he's not going to want a one-year deal when they're saying Inter Milan apparently are offering him a 3-year contract. Apparently Atletico Madrid looking at him. And also, we know the striker market is very difficult right now. Do we need to just move on from him and go and get a Vlahovic, go and get an Isaac, go and get an Osimhen, somebody like that, and get a younger, more productive goal-scoring striker? I want to know what you think in the comments. What would you do? Now, I know a lot of you before were saying that, if this was a long contract, you wouldn't be interested. And I agree with that. I wouldn't give Lacazette no 2, 3, 4-year contract. No chance. 1-year deal makes sense if you don't feel like there is an obvious replacement out there. I just think when I look at Arsenal right now, we have a problem scoring goals. There's no doubt about it. We've scored 13 goals this season. There are teams in the Premier League that have scored triple what we have scored. Do we need to bring in a new striker? Or could you even bring a new striker in with those two if he's going to play in the 10 role? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Let's get into your comments. I think this is really interesting. For me, I think it's risky keeping him. I've got to be honest. I get worried. I feel like we've had our fingers burnt with Mesut Ozil. I know this won't be the 3-year deal that Ozil got. But it's just delaying it another year, and to have two 30-plus-year-old strikers on big money at the football club, the league's only going to get more difficult. I do like him in that 10 role. I do. I know he starts up front with Aubameyang, but he does drop into that 10 and he's good at it. But if Oba was to get injured, can Lacazette get them goals that we're going to need? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we can rely on him as a goal scorer. Peely said, why do Arsenal always leave these deals so late? Still some clueless business people in the background. There's no way we should have been making this decision now. We should have made it last summer. Nimbo said, yes, I would sell him this summertime for a new hungry striker. Nimbo, the only thing is we can't sell him in the summer. He'll be a free agent. He'll walk out for nothing unless we sell him in January, which I think there's no chance the club would sell him in January. Martin said, get a Firmino-like striker if we're going to continue this type of 4-4-2. That's a good option. Maybe we go for a striker that's not necessarily an out-and-out number 9 goal scorer, someone that can do a little bit of the dirty work and link up with the midfield. Harsha said, need to be ruthless in terms of letting players go. Can't keep potential liabilities. Dominic said, we need something new and need to move on from Lacazette and Aubameyang. Michael Connor said, 1-year deal is no risk to Arsenal, but risky for Lacazette. Let him go. Drew said, Lacazette is a better finisher than Aubameyang. Maybe better in your opinion, but not as consistent, in terms of the numbers. Jorge said, short-term makes sense. We still got a small team in terms of actual quality. It's hard to tell how much we'll spend the next year or two. What I would say with Arsenal, are they giving him a new contract because they feel they're going to struggle to get a striker this summer? I've said many times, the striker market is a bit of a mess at the moment. There's really not a lot of quality out there. This is a tough one for me. Honestly, this is a tough one because I kind of feel like the Aubameyang Lacazette story is finishing. I got to be honest. I feel like it's ran its course. I'm not sure if Arsenal can get where they need to get to with these two as their strikers because there's not enough goals in them at the moment. Aubameyang has had the goals in him, doesn't at the moment. And Lacazette, I don't know, is he playing for that contract? I think we've got to look elsewhere. I've got to be honest. I don't think it's wise to have two 30-plus-year-old strikers on big, big money. Now, yeah, as a two, they're pretty good as a two. I like them as a two. But as 30-plus-year-old players, if we're back in Europe next year with more games, If one of those two get injured, if Aubameyang got injured, I don't think we could rely on Lacazette as a striker by himself to get us the goals. That's the thing for me. I do like Lacazette, I really do, and a 1-year contract would make sense for Arsenal. I understand it from their point of view. I, number one, don't think Lacazette will accept that contract, because why would he take a 1-year deal unless he absolutely loves it at Arsenal and in London and he just doesn't want to leave. But I just kind of think the story's come to an end now. We love it, the celebration, the handshake, all of that. Yeah, man, that's cool. But we need goals. We need goals now. We need something different. I want to see some fresh energy, some young hunger, some pace. And the biggest disappointment for me is that Lacazette is going to, if he goes in the summer, he's going to leave the football club on a free transfer. That, for me, is the biggest problem. You should not sign a player for £50 million and allow him to run down his contract. TW said Laka will be perfect for Atletico. I think he'll do great there because he's a link man. And he got a lot of movement around him with Griezmann and João Felix and that. I think he'll do very well. They're one of the teams being linked with him, so I think he'll move on. Johnny said we need to act like a big boy club. I hear you on that. I think sometimes you got to be ruthless. You can get caught up in the emotion. Oh, we like Lacazette. I love his passion and personality. Give him a new deal. I think it's time to move on from it. Our defence at the moment looks rock solid. The reason Arsenal are still not quite where they need to be is, number one, we're not scoring enough. Number two, we probably need a better midfielder to play next to Thomas Partey. So I think those two areas need to be addressed this summer. Go and get a different, younger striker and go and get a top quality midfielder. A midfielder probably in January. Cal said, doesn't matter how much we would have to spend to get Haaland, we will recoup him. Brand improvement. Go get him. Who knows? Maybe he wants London. I mean, listen, Cal, I love your optimism. I'm all about optimism, my friend, but we also have to be realistic. Haaland would not come to Arsenal. I feel like I can say that without even knowing the facts. Mino Raiola's his agent. Apparently wants 25 million. Just as a signing on fee. It's just not going to happen. The numbers, it will cost well over 100 million when you put the agent fees in there. Penalty Spot said, defo time for him to move on and Arsenal to upgrade. Poor financial dealings by the club, though. I just don't understand why Arsenal, more than any other club, allow contracts to run down. It makes no sense. Oz said, fair points. We do need a prolific striker and put Odegaard in the 10 since we've signed him. Odegaard's an interesting one, isn't he? Because at the start of the season, he was probably the most high-profile signing. Maybe not the most expensive, but just the fact he's coming from Real Madrid, Norway captain, this, that, the other. And at the moment, he's been the most disappointing signing out of all of them this season. I think due to the fact we've changed formation and in a 4-4-2, there isn't really space for Odegaard, who is a number 10. So it's going to be interesting what happens with him moving forward. Elliot said Lacazette has to go. New striker and more goals needed. Sad but true. Enough said. I hear you on that. I'm in agreement. I Just Work Here said, if we sign him for 1 year and sign a Vlahovic or something, it would be good. Then we can get rid of him and replace Aubameyang. I just think if Lacazette signs a new deal, we don't sign a new striker. And I think that would be a mistake. I think Arsenal need to go and get a new striker to be, in competition or play with Aubameyang up front. And we have messed up again with these contracts. So much for a new era. I mean, I always have this list, right? Of all these players. I mean, you've got Danny Welbeck, Jack Wilshere, Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil, Shkodran Mustafi, Socrates, Aaron Ramsey. We're this summer set to lose Kolasinac, El Neni, and Nketiah and Lacazette. All of those players, and we haven't got a pound back for all of them. Yet we're a self-sustaining model. Somebody tell me how that makes sense. Like, how can you run a business in that way? Alexis, we turned down 60 million final day of the transfer window from Manchester City with, a year left on his deal. Welbeck should have been 10 to 15. Wilshere probably the same. Ramsey was probably a £30 million midfielder at the time. Your Socrates, them guys should pick up a little 5-6 mil. It's crazy. crazy. Lacazette, apparently we turned down 25 million last summer from Roma. Eddie, we turned down 11 million from Palace. It makes absolutely no sense. Imagine how much better our team would be if we'd made 150 million on those players and reinvested that into the team. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Who has made those decisions? You know, they gave us this interview 2 years ago. We will not allow players to run down their contract. You're letting your £50 million striker walk out the door for nothing. Other clubs just don't do it. Michael with the super chat, thank you, bro, said, question, Curtis, if we want European football next season, do we need to keep Lacazette? I think we keep Lacazette until the end of the season, you know, because listen, you're not going to get a top quality striker in January. Unless somebody throws you 15, 20 million for him and you cash in and get someone in on loan, you keep him till the summer for me and you move him on. Even though we won't get a penny for him, I think giving him a new contract, 170 grand a week, you know, is big money. So I would let him go. Big up Fran in the chat. Hope you're well, bro. He said, let him leave. Time's done. And only reason he's doing okay at the moment is because he's chasing a new deal or a new club. I think there's two points I would make to that. Number one, you do find often that a lot of players, when that contract's running down, all of a sudden you get a splurge of form and you think, where's this coming from? You know, that new Lamborghini, that new mansion is motivating them. You know, they run a little bit harder than usual. But also, I do think he's benefiting from playing in a two. I've said a number of times that Lacazette and Aubameyang would benefit from playing together. You look at Vardy, as he's gone into his 30s, Leicester have always kept a striker around him. You know, they had Okazaki when they won the league. They've had Iheanacho the last few years because it shares the load. I can tell you now, Fran will tell you, playing up front by yourself is not easy, man. I'm telling you, you can have some dark days playing up front by yourself where you're just spending the game running. You put another striker up there and we're both occupying their two centre-backs. It makes life a lot easier for you. And I think Aubameyang has benefited from having Lacazette. But I'm in agreement with most of you people. I would let Lacazette go. I wouldn't give him a new contract. I think we need to move on. I just think it's a shame that we haven't sold him for money to get the money in. So we'll have to see on that one. Big love to the community at the likes. Let us know if you're live today, Fran. So I'll promote it for you. Let me know what time and stuff. But one thing I will say, I do think Lacazette, you know, just in rounding up, one thing I will say is I think he's got a brilliant attitude. You know, I've never gone to an Arsenal game or watched a game on TV and gone, Lacazette looks like he's just sacking it off today. He's not interested. I think his work rate, commitment, and attitude has been exempt since he's been at the football club. I got to be honest. I think it's a shame that his goal scoring ability has faltered since he's come to the Premier League, which I think has stopped him from being a real big success. But I will never question his commitment. I do think he's had a great attitude. Funny done well, what a name. Thank you for the super chat. Said Mustafi was 35 million, went for nothing. If we get Champions League footy, why not Haaland? Odegaard could say a word to him. Odegaard would play. I mean, listen, first of all, Haaland already plays Champions League, so Champions League's not going to wow him. You know, he's already banging goals in that competition. If you can go to Real Madrid, you know, or Manchester City or Arsenal, who are you going to go to? You know, let's take away the emotion of us being Arsenal fans and we love Arsenal. If you can go to Madrid or Man City or Arsenal, at this moment in time, you are not going to Arsenal. That's just the reality. You know, listen, I love the optimism. People think we can get Haaland. You know, we ain't getting Haaland. We ain't getting Haaland. It's just one of them. He's going to go to one of the bigger teams at the moment. Fran said on at 6 today, a little later. Make sure you check that out, people, at 6. Gambian Guna said, I would let go of Lacazette. We don't want another Aubameyang situation. Let's bring in a young striker around 23, 25 that can take over from Aubameyang. Exactly. You got to plan for when players leave, you know, and this is another thing that Arsenal have struggled to do moving forward. Yes, big up Anthony said, big up Curse, what are you saying, Rasta? Hey, everything good, man. Can't complain, you know. We're still here, people. Let's move on. Another story and a player that could be on his way out. And Fran, if you're still in the chat, you might be happy with this one, my friend. And it is It's that guy, Nicholas Pepe, people. Newcastle, Crystal Palace and Everton are interested in signing Nicholas Pepe. The clubs would all want a loan with an option to buy rather than a straight sale by Arsenal. Now, for me, the second you mention loan with an option to buy, the deal's off. Yeah, the deal's off. We can't be loaning out Nicholas Pepe with an option to buy. What do people think this is? Like, if he's on loan, there has to be an obligation to buy him. Man said Stinky Pete. Ain't he in Toy Story or something? Oh my days. Apparently Newcastle are one of the clubs that are most interested in him. We know they got, a king's ransom to spend when it comes to January and moving forward. They want to add firepower. It's got to be an obligation to buy or a straight sale. You cannot loan out your record transfer with an option to buy. They keep him for 6 months and send him back. So, listen, the source is coming from France. It's not classed as a top-tier source. So I'm not going to say, this is gospel that it's happening. But I do think maybe clubs are starting to look at the situation and whether they can get him or not. So, like I said, the source is not a great source. The rumours that are being banded around and the figures, they're saying around 35 million for Pepe, which is less than half than what we paid for him. So, I don't know. First of all, what I want to say, would you take 35 million for Pepe? And would you let him go? Listen, I was speaking to Kev yesterday about Pepe. I think Pepe's got till the summer. I think they'll give him till the end of the season. Unless he sorts out this form and gets more consistent, I think they will. I think Arsenal would be willing to accept a decent offer for him in the summer. I can't lie. I don't think he's a player that they look at and say, there's no way we would let him go. Zach said swap him for St. Maximum. I just don't think that. Listen, St. Maximum is probably their most exciting, dangerous player. They've got a king's ransom in the bank. They're not going to swap Nicholas Pepe for St. Maximum. Maybe before the money turned up. Melbourne said 35 million for Pepe is a good deal. I kind of agree with that. Fran said his agent will be bang on it now. Every club will be linked with Pepe. The thing is, look at these three clubs. If you're Newcastle, if you're Crystal Palace, if you're Everton, you would look at Pepe and think, all right, for 35 million, I'll take the chance on him. I'm thinking, for example, Crystal Palace. Palace have got Zaha on one side. You put Pepe on the other and maybe Eze in the 10 role, that's a dangerous front three. And if he plays every week and you play a more counter-attacking system, all of a sudden, you might see Pepe at another club thriving and doing really well. Newcastle, imagine St. Maximum and Pepe out wide. Everton maybe with Richarlison and Pepe with Calvert-Lewin through the middle. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's like, you don't want another team to sign Pepe and he becomes a really good player elsewhere. That's kind of the worry of it, But we can't hang on to him forever in the hope that he turns into a top player. Could we try and get a swap deal out of one of those two players? Is it too late to get Zaha off Vieira? Could we try and get someone off Everton? I don't know. Heaven Angel said Balassi better than Pepe. Obviously, I'm friends with Balassi from, over a decade. And listen, one thing I'll say about Yannick, man, he was so dangerous. Also with Zaha, this is the thing, so dangerous. Dangerous players all the time. And that's what I don't think we see enough of with Pepe, is that danger factor. Fran said he would do well at another club, especially if the system fits him. I think he'd do well at Palace. Counter-attacking style, which is what Lille played in France. Another quick winger on the other side. Listen, we'll see. Listen, there's a long way to go in this season. There's no guarantees that Saka and Smith Rowe play every week. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity for Pepe to start. And he's got to start, do well, and hold on to the shirt. But I definitely think he's on borrowed time. I think at the end of the season, you will see an opportunity where the club would accept an offer for him. Newcastle are rich, but remember, rules stop them from going all out. They do, but I'm sure there's ways they can, there's ways around a lot of these rules. Encore said make Pepe a striker. I'm not sure he'll do that, Arteta, but We've got a lot of strikers there. South London's Finest said, Balassi, one of the most skillful players to play in the league. Listen, I went to watch him on loads of occasions, and he treated the Premier League like, the skillful kid used to treat the playground, or you're playing cage football in the inner city. He was wild. The things he was doing in the Prem was ridiculous, so unpredictable that defenders didn't know how to deal with him. Shamba said, Big C, it's easy to blame Pepe than Arteta. Kevin Campbell would say it's the system. I mean, no, he would say it's the players, though. I've tried to say the system before. He would say the players. Listen, I think I've defended Pepe a lot. I'm not writing him off because I do think he'll be at the club at least until the summer. So I think we do have to still try and get something out of him. We got to hope that things improve with him. But at the moment, I think he's got to take more responsibility than the manager, because despite my feeling that the manager didn't always treat him right and stuff like that, he's had enough opportunities to prove himself, and that's my worry. Obligation only or no deal? Facts 100%. Can't be loaned with an option. Do you guys actually believe the press regarding Pepe? It's the international break. Listen, we know international break, stories start getting flung around with no truth because they got to sell newspapers. However, I do think there is a situation where Arteta will sit there and go, you know what, if someone offers a decent amount for him in the summer, they would take it. I do think they would take it. Ross Code Soul Music said, I'm about to rewatch that Kevin Campbell history class. That was epic. Like I said, people, anybody that didn't watch the show we did yesterday with Kevin Campbell, it was absolutely brilliant. Probably the best show that I've done with Kev. And, he spoke about 89 and his time at Arsenal, his partnership with Ian Wright. Go back and check that out. Fran said, Everton done Yannick dirty. I said it for a long time. It was crazy. They bought him and they stuck with people like Walcott and Iwobi and people like that and allowed him to go. But hey, it is what it is. It's football, I suppose. Let's have a look. KJ said, Pepe doesn't suit the English game. Skillful, but his lackadaisical style means he cannot shine. I mean, is it the Premier League or is it Arsenal's style? Like I said, there was a big report when we signed him. From Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich put out this long report. Bayern Munich were favourites to sign him before he came to Arsenal. And I think the deal was nearly done. And Bayern Munich backed out of the deal. And they put a report out saying that Pepe cannot thrive in a system where you dominate possession. He's not a possession-based winger. He's a winger where he plays for a team that probably have 40% possession and they hit you on the counter-attack at speed. Arsenal, under Arteta wants to play Pep Guardiola style of football. Keep the ball, play out from the back. Pepe, you can see at times he's a little bit untidy on the ball. I think he wants to just, play at quick speed and finish. And I think that is a reason why he hasn't thrived at Arsenal, because of the style and the system. Penalty Spot said, remember what you once said, Curtis, a player's value worth is what the market is prepared to pay. 100%. Totally agree with that. We can say all day long, this is what we want for a player, but it's about what they're willing to pay for him. BX Gunner said, something has to be said about his exclusion recently. I think if any player isn't fully committed, they won't play. I can now agree with Arteta's choices somewhat. Yeah, some of them. I always think it's a bit of a dangerous game, innit? Because sometimes managers will leave players out based on the way they train. And sometimes some of the best players are not great trainers. So I always think with that philosophy, you have to have a little bit of balance with that. Some managers are like, you got to train the way you play. If you don't put it in every day, run through brick walls, you won't play for me. Yet some of the best players I've ever played with, they stroll through training. They do the bare minimum because their whole thing is about that match day. They step their game up on match day. And on the flip side, some of the not so good players are the best players in training. That's the crazy thing, because they're trying to impress so much. So there's a balance with that. There is a balance. 1.1k watching. Big up to all of you. Really appreciate your support. And we got great numbers on that show yesterday as well. I think we got 1,500 likes on the show with Kev. If we could get, close to 1,000 likes today, it would be great. Again, people, helps the algorithm. Ross said, I can't stand training with the club, but I love to do my own training. Yeah, because, I mean, you can decide what you want to do and things like that. Ronaldinho Hazard settings, there you go. You know, people said Hazard was the worst trainer at Chelsea, yet he was their best player. Ronaldinho used to stroll around training. I remember Frank Rijkaard said in an interview that he struggled to teach Ronaldinho anything. You know, he said that Ronaldinho was almost that good. He couldn't teach him anything. He had to just keep him fit. You know, apparently some days he even gave him days off. And just, you know, just have the day off, mate. You're that good. Just don't bother turning up, you know. And that's how football is sometimes with training, you know. Some of the worst players are the best trainers and vice versa. Frank Rijkaard, yeah, good player, very good player, and a good manager as well for a short period. I don't know what happened to his managerial career. El Neni, the best trainer. And you know what? A lot of people have said that. A lot of people say, oh, El Neni in training bops it, runs, keeps the ball, sprays passes. What does he do on a match day? You know, doesn't do that. He plays everything backwards and sideways because he's under pressure. Under pressure, things are very different. So in terms of Pepe, I think the feeling is quite clear that a lot of people would sell him for 35 million. I just think it's a case of, you know, until the end of the season, can he prove himself that he does still have that ability to do it at this level? You know, time will tell. We kept Xhaka for a long time, and he's had a lot more chances than Pepe, so it can be turned around, but it's in his hands. Let's see what you're saying. El Neni, the training ground Messi. I'm telling you, a lot of people say that El Neni's brilliant in training, but, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? We know he's not the guy. Training on a match day is totally different. Just to give you a bit of insight, actually, a quick reminder. So tomorrow, I'll be on at 2 o'clock with the usual, you know, our usual Arsenal show. I'll be doing the Liverpool preview tomorrow night at 9 p.m. UK time with Grizz. We got Grizz on tomorrow. As you can imagine, every Arsenal fan is messaging a Liverpool fan to come and do a preview, so their timings are all over the place. So I tried to get Grizz on at 2. He couldn't do 2. So tomorrow, 2 o'clock will be the usual Arsenal update. We'll look at the team news, look at the team that we should pick to go to Anfield. And obviously, Mikel Arteta's press conference is tomorrow morning. So we'll have press conference reaction at 2 o'clock. So, you know, get your syrup ready. I'm sure there'll be a lot of waffle in that one. And then tomorrow at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. UK time, will be the Arsenal-Liverpool preview with man like Grizz. We'll do a combined 11 and all of that, although, you know, how many Arsenal players will get in it. But Grizz is a bit of an Arteta lover, apparently. So, you know, we'll press him on Arsenal and all of that. Yeah, the big dogs, man, the big dogs. So make sure you look out for that one tomorrow, people. Again, Arsenal being linked with Renato Sanchez. I mean, I don't want to bore you too long with this one because it's in the sun. But it seems to be running around the French media more than anything. What I didn't realise is that Renato Sanchez is out of contract in the summer. And apparently Lille are desperate to sell him. Lille have had a lot of financial problems. I don't know why they've had financial problems because they robbed us of £72 million for Nicholas Pepe. But I suppose we got our own back a little bit, paying 23 million for Gabriel. And maybe we just swap the price tag because at the moment, Gabriel looks more like the £72 million player than Pepe. So if we swap the price around, kind of makes more sense. But Renato Sanchez is out of contract this summer, and apparently Lille are desperate to sell him. They don't want to allow him to go on a free. They're willing to take a cut price. I've always said my issue with Renato Sanchez is the injury record. He's very injury prone, but he's a very good player. Two Crutches FC, Mad's calling him. Wasn't he a flop at Swansea? I mean, he went on loan to Swansea and struggled, but I think he's a very good player. I don't think that loan really is a fair judgment on his talent. Omid said, my mate in France is telling me that this is being spoken about 24/7 and that Arsenal really wants to sign him. I mean, listen, I think it makes a lot of sense. I'd love to see us get him on loan till the end of the season, maybe with an option to buy. In fact, we wouldn't even have to have an option because he'd be out of contract. So Lille wouldn't want him to go on loan. That's the problem. They're going to want to get cash for him. If we can get him at a cut price, I'd be going there with, I'd say, listen, man, you lot ain't got no dough. I'll give you 10 million for him. Take it or leave it. You know, if you could get him for like 10, 12 mil, I think it's a good deal. It's just I have concerns with that injury record. I think I saw a stat yesterday. I looked at it. He hasn't played over 20 league games since 2016. 5 years since he played over 20 league games in a season. That's a problem. You know, we know that Arsenal, if ever a club is going to turn somebody into an injured player, you know, it's Arsenal. And this guy's already injury prone. Saw him score the other day for Portugal. He looks brilliant. He was good in the Euros. I think he's really improved since he's gone to France. But for me, it would have to be a cut price deal. Zach said, Curtis got me listening in the middle of work. What you got, man, doing? You're too good. Hey, don't get sacked, you know. Be careful. South London's fine. He's 10 to 15 million. I'm taking him 100%. 24 years of age, 10 to 15 mil. No brainer. Navarre said 10 mil max. Lille equals Arsenal's best money friend. Yeah, we're just feeding him money right now. Venkatesh, said, can't rely on him. Partey was injury-free till he joined the Premier League. This league is on a different level. Some people saying he does have another year left on his contract. Fair enough. You know, I checked in that report. See, this is what I'm saying. You can't trust the Sun for anything, can you? It said his contract was up at the end of the season. Let's have a look. On transfer market, Renato Sanchez contract expiry. Yeah, 2023. See, the Sun. Hey, big up to you, man. We can't trust the Sun for nothing. This is why I always apologise when a report comes from the Sun. So we could definitely take him on loan. So if I'm Arsenal, loan with an option to buy, all over it, people. Hit the likes if you're a real one. BX trying to draw people out with that one. I like that one, though. Hit them likes, people, if you're a real one. And I know we got nothing but real ones in here, people. So what else we got before we get out of here? It's not going to be the longest show today. 1,200 people in here. Really appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe as well. Thomas Partey looks as if he's probably going to be available for Saturday. Charles Watts spoke about it today. He said, as far as I'm aware, all parties are hopeful that he could be involved on Saturday. As it stands, fingers crossed, it is looking like Thomas Partey is winning his fitness battle to play at Anfield. Now, we need him back. We need him to play. As much as I enjoyed the Maitland-Niles performance against Watford, it was Watford at the Emirates. This is Liverpool at Anfield. Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson, midfield is going to be very difficult for Arsenal to deal with. You need Thomas Partey's power. So I think, you know, if we can get him back, I think even though Maitland-Niles played better in the last game, I would still play Lokonga and Thomas Partey. I think they were building a partnership that was working. Craig said, would you take the risk? I mean, Craig, it depends on the percentage. If they believe he's fully fit and injury-free, they've kept him away from international duty, then you play him. If he's 60, 70% fit, I think you've got to leave him out. You know, as much as, okay, Partey not playing could make a huge difference in this result, I would rather Partey miss one game than, you know, he plays and aggravates it. Remember that season when he got injured at Tottenham when we rushed him back? So Arsenal have to be very careful here. They really do. He's an injury-prone player. If he's not fully fit, we've potentially got to leave him. You know, I wouldn't even put him on the bench. But listen, if they believe he's 100% fit, then you got to play him. So we'll have to see. RIP Young Dolph, yeah, man. I mean, listen, not to go off topic too much, but you know, the stuff with rappers and not only just rappers, just people in their neighborhood and the ends where they grew up. You know, success in these places, man. I think when you become successful, you got to get out of there, as horrible as that is. And I grew up in a hood myself, in a ghetto myself. But success, not everyone's going to be happy for you. You know, when you're in that kind of environment and, you know, Terrible. Listen, I don't want to go off topic too much because I'll go on, and we'll forget totally about football. This is why I probably need to set up a second YouTube channel or a Twitch account, because I need to speak on these kind of topics. But yeah, man, it's RP Dolph, man. Yeah, it's sad. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I'll go way off topic. But yeah, Thomas Partey anyway. He should be playing. He should be playing this weekend. But like most of you are saying, man, if he's not 100%, I wouldn't risk it. I definitely wouldn't risk it because we can't afford him to be injured. Ethan said, when's the Liverpool preview? The preview's tomorrow, my friend. 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Me and Grizz. Should be a good one. It's his debut on the show. I've spoke to him before, but I haven't had him on the channel yet. And you've seen him on the Big Six anyway, as usual. He's a good character, so should be good. And he's quite kind towards Arsenal, which not many people are. So let me get into your comments for 5-10 minutes, then we'll get out of here, people. It's only a short one today. The South is no joke. I'm in Charlotte and it's the same ish. Yeah, man, it's crazy over there. It's not even just America, but yeah, I hear you completely. Jorge, damn, RP, Dolph, Black American down out. Hey, well, like I said, let me not get too political because, I'll be on here for another hour. Definitely get that culture channel up and going. Listen, we'll definitely have a second channel, whether that's on here or on Twitch, man. We have to discuss some real life topics as well. Anyone know how Reece is doing at Feyenoord? I mean, do you know what? I did say I was going to do a Loan Watch show. I haven't even done that yet. So I definitely need to do that. I mean, Reece Nelson, 4 appearances, 1 assist, and 2 of them were on the bench. So, I think that tells you he's not doing too well. 2 starts since August. So it doesn't look like it's doing him great over there. Charles said, big up C, love the episode, love the 100th episode of Talk is Cheap. Yeah, big up, man. Watch that if you haven't already, people. Robbie and Ty were on. We had a good laugh on there, man. It was a good one. Call it Uncle Curtis Show. Hey, man, that makes me sound way too old. They start calling you uncle and that when you're old, did it? Yeah, man, listen, baby, I am getting older. Maybe I have to take it. Brandon said, understand what you're saying, Curtis. I'm in South Africa, bro. We always in struggle. Them struggles, man, they're not easy. It's designed for that, unfortunately, man. But like I said, let me not get too political. We'll save that for another day. When are you doing the GOAT stream? Yeah, again, international break, man. I didn't plan it too well. We'll definitely do a GOAT stream soon, though. We'll definitely get it done. Let's have a look. A-Man said, Curtis, you've seen us being linked with Missouri from Ajax. I haven't seen those links, bro. I haven't seen them at all. Ashton said, I said your second channel should be called Kicking It with Curtis. That's not a bad shout. If I go down that route, don't worry, you'll get your 10%, Ashton. Bo Bayman said, big up Big C, tapas time up, little too late though. I mean, listen, man, I watched Jamaica the other day against America. I didn't stream it, as you know, but they put in a decent performance against America. Probably should have beat them. Had a goal disallowed that shouldn't have been disallowed. Antonio scores an absolute rocket. And you're like, they took nearly a year to convince Antonio to play for Jamaica rather than wait for an England call-up. And the manager's been benching him game after game after game. You decide to play him, the team looks better, and you've waited too long. Now Jamaica have messed up qualifying. They're not going to make the World Cup. They have to win every single game, I think, now. So, these managers, man, the Jamaican Ollie, they're calling him at the moment. So, I mean, I'm not being disrespectful because I've met Tapper a few times when I was involved in the Jamaica setup. But nah, man, messed up. Jamaica should have qualified for this World Cup with the players they had available. You got a front three of Mikel Antonio, Leon Bailey, and Ravel Morrison. I mean, that should be qualifying, but. Again, let me not go off topic because you'll have me here. I have to be careful because Paul Hall is a good friend of mine and Paul Hall's one of the assistant coaches. So I know sometimes he watches the show. He don't want to hear me, dissing Tapper too much. But yeah, man, he messed up. King Durai, I mean, listen, you're way off here, bro. Let me tell you. Man said ghettos aren't in England. Y'all grew up on crumpets and drinking tea. Listen, bro. Listen. England ain't what you think, bro. It ain't all tea and crumpets, let me tell you. A lot of madness goes on in England, man. I know people from outside think it's all tea and crumpets, but it's not. Jashar said, I went to school with Paul Hall. Hey, big up, Jay. See, it's a small world, innit? Yeah, me and him worked together. He was at Mansfield as a coach. He came in just as I left. We played against each other as well at the back end of his career, and we've been friends ever since. I still speak to him quite often, every time he's on international duty, man. Jonathan said, Tapper is worse than Ollie. Man, I know the people aren't happy with him, man. Messed up qualification, didn't he? So people getting on to it. My man said tea and crumpets. I know, listen, you know when people ain't been to England, that's what they thinking. It's all the Queen and tea and crumpets, man. Tell these man about Brixton and Tottenham and Hackney and, you know, up in St Anne's in Nottingham and Birmingham, you know, Lascelles and all these areas, Handsworth, Manchester. There's loads of ghettos in England, bro, let me tell you. People don't think so, though. You really need to start a second channel. Yeah, we get that soon. It's just about time and planning and, you know, what content we're going to do. Cho the Great said, Laka deserves a 1-year extension. It would be in the best interest of both parties involved. Also, on another note, you will own nothing and be happy. Klaus Schwab. Google it, everyone. Interesting. The man's coming with some philosophy, man. I like that. The Shaw factor. Now that I can't lie, Temp, that is an absolute banger. Like that one is, you know, that's got the mind ticking. The Shaw factor, geez, 10% for you, Temp. If it goes there, that could be the one. That could be the one. Zhao said, I was having goosebumps watching the best 10 games of Arteta in Arsenal. Interesting. I mean, listen, he's improving. Arteta. I think this weekend is one of his biggest hurdles to overcome, and it's not even necessarily about winning the game. We do need to win the game. We do want to win the game, but we need to go there and show them that things have changed. We've gone to Liverpool so many times and just been rolled over. Light work, absolute light work. We need to go there and challenge them, make life difficult, make it difficult for them to break us down, hit them on the break, you know. So I'm actually really excited for the game. It feels like the longest international break ever. The most boring, longest international break ever. But, you know, it's I'm excited for the game. I hope I'm excited at 7 o'clock when the game finishes. I hope, you know, Salah hasn't scored a hat-trick and I'm having a meltdown. Darai said, just joking, Jamaica straight. Hey, big up, bro. It's all love, bro. Jordan said, get Balassi on a stream. Yeah, man. I mean, he plays in Turkey at the moment. So, yeah, listen, maybe I can get him on. It'll be good to get him on. You, man, throwing in all these things. Curtis strikes again. Shaw to Shaw. Late night Curtis Shaw or show, possibly we could do that. Shaw Sharp Collective, the cutting edge Curtis. I swear, you lot are mad creative, you know. You lot are mad creative. Don't worry, man. We'll have the second channel soon. You know we have to discuss other things, man, as well. Graham said, Curtis, any further updates on the Jovic loan deal, which you reported a couple of weeks ago? I mean, my understanding is he can leave in January. What I read was that he could leave on loan. I don't think he's hardly played for Real Madrid this season. And, yeah, but it's just whether Arsenal go for him or not. The Curtis Shaw show. Shawshank Redemption. Shawcross. Curtis and Chill. You lot are mad, I'm telling you. I love it. I love the creative vibes. Curtis knows best. Big C talks. Why always Curtis? Curtis 50 Shaw. Oh, dear. Any news on Righty coming on the show, bro? Honestly. I mean, I even asked Kev, you know, can't you give him a nudge? He said, listen, man, number one, he doesn't hardly go on anyone's channel. I don't know if this is because he still works with Arsenal. Maybe they don't want him going on shows where people have criticised things within the club. I think it's going to have to be just one of them where I see him at an event or something like that. And, you know, everyone says he's an energy man. He's a face-to-face. You know, you speak to him in person. So hopefully, we'll get it, man. Don't worry. We'll get it eventually. You lot got bare names to these shows, man. I love it. transmit the Curtis Shaw show. 1.1k in the chat, people. Make sure you smash them likes. We have a few more minutes, then we'll get out of here. Trust the Shaw. 50 Shaws of... Yo, man, I don't know what kind of programs, man, think I'm doing on there about 50 Shaws, you know. I don't know about that one. But yeah, love to see a reaction channel. Yeah, that would be good, to be honest. I need to actually make some reaction videos, compilations, man. Sure and Tell, that's a good one as well. Listen, people, 50 minutes, I'm out of here. Appreciate you all tuning in today. It was a little bit short. I usually do an hour, but there isn't too much news to talk about, so you know I'm not gonna stretch it too long. As I said, people, I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. for another Arsenal show, and then I'll be back 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Don't forget, Arsenal v Liverpool preview live show with Grizz. And I got a message back today for those who were asking about Darren Farley, the comedian. If you know, you know. He's one of the funniest football comedians. I've had him on the show twice. The first 2 times he's been on the show, I've done pre-recorded shows with him. This time I'm probably going to do a live stream. And he said he is available in the next 2 weeks. So that show is coming as well, people. So I'm working to get some guests on. Big up to all of you for tuning in. I appreciate you putting all those channel names in there as well. Listen, maybe one of them I'll pick, and I appreciate your creativity, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget, watch the Big Six tonight over on Turkish's channel. Great show. I believe it's on tonight. I think it's usually on Friday, but he's moved it this week. Go and check that out. Join me again tomorrow at 2 for the Arsenal show, and 9 p.m. tomorrow for the preview with Grizz. Enjoy the rest of your day, people, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bless.